Welcome back. I'm Linda Kenney Baden. Let me just briefly introduce my guest for this afternoon, David DiPietro. David, how are you, sir?
You. Thanks for having me.
Good. David's a major trial attorney in Broward County, former state's attorney. When I look at the CV, I can't even go through it all because it'll take us to the end of the show. Super lawyer, AV rating, Martindale, Hubble, you name it, he's got it. So, David, can you answer me this question? Why has Henry Segura been in jail for 9 years when he has not been convicted of a crime?
Because in Florida, when you are charged with a crime that's punishable by life in prison, a first-degree felony punishable by life in prison, you are automatically held no bond. The state would have to prove at some point at something called an Arthur hearing that the evidence they have is proof evident and presumption great, which is higher than beyond a reasonable doubt. So if the state can show that they have a very, very strong case, they can hold you no bond. The only remedy you would have as a defendant is you could demand speedy trial under our speedy trial criminal rules, which would allow you to go to trial within a 50-day or so period of time. The trial would be set. So obviously the lawyer didn't demand speedy, and so he sort of languished in jail.
Okay, so we're going to go back in, but while we're going back in, we're talking right now to Henry Segura about why he didn't cry, why he wasn't more emotional when he heard his son had died. Let's listen. Wow, we're going to take a lunch break in the Henry Segura matter, but we're not taking a break here yet because I'd like to talk to David DiPietro about this, and I have some questions here. David, when you were a state's attorney, did you see defendants testify as a matter of course?
For some reason, I had many, many defendants testify. I don't know if it was an anomaly on my part, but you know, with the right to remain silent, it's always interesting what the defendant's going to say. They have an opportunity to see all the evidence and see any weaknesses in the evidence, and they can come up or create a story or a scenario that is totally out of left field but could be logical and could create doubt. That's why it's important as any lawyer and as a prosecutor to know your evidence backwards and forwards, and to hope that you can test their credibility as to their testimony on the fly, because you don't have a lot of time to prepare.
Let me just say this. He said, Henry Segura said, as to the question is why he was deleting texts off one of his two phones, because he had two phones, and we could talk about that afterwards. But he said because he didn't want his wife to see the text to his two girlfriends because he was sleeping around with two other women. And he also said that some people have drugs he uses, cheating and sex as his drug of choice. But you guys in Florida, you had a famous case where when the texts weren't deleted off a phone of a famous golfer, the wife went after him. What was that?
Yeah, Tiger Woods with the putter in the back of the SUV, right? As he's driving away. I guess we're famous for that in Florida.
So the jury's going to relate to that then if he says, I deleted these texts because I didn't want them to see. They could relate just like you and I related to Tiger Woods. Well, not related to, but related to the incident.
Right. The argument is he might not be the boyfriend, husband of the year or of the day or of any day, but that doesn't make him guilty of murder. That's the argument.
That's the argument. And he also said that the reason why he wasn't crying in that interview, he felt the police were already targeting him as a black man. And he had a son previously, the year before, which I didn't know until just then, that had died at 11 months old because he had been born prematurely. I found that a legitimate reason for him not to have those tears in a police station. What about you?
Yeah, everything I've reviewed about his testimony, it actually it can create reasonable doubt. I don't know if it's truthful or not, or sincere or not, but the whole scenario that you know there was a potential drug cartel involved, and it creates a real logical possibility that maybe this guy just didn't do it, and he was accused of it because they developed a motive of child support that he didn't want to pay, but there could have been motive by somebody else to commit these murders.
Right. Okay. So, David, we're going to take a quick break right now. And I want to tell you that when we come back, we're going to Iowa in the Molly Tibbetts death, the Rivera hearing on Miranda. Stay tuned.